Welcome to the North Pole, better known as Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota. It's just an average winter day here, 0 degrees with 10-mile-an-hour winds, making the wind chill factor minus 18 degrees. Typical Viking weather for their match with the Green Bay Packers. Despite the sub-zero temperature, over 49,000 Penguins turned out, for this is the big one. There's no tomorrow for their Vikings if they lose, as with a win, Green Bay can clinch the NFC Central Division title. Dan Devine has brought the Packers a long way in this, his second season. As has become the rule in the NFL, with only 2 weeks to play, the Packers and 14 other teams are still in contention for the playoffs. The Packers have surprised with their strong showing this season, but also surprising is that the Vikings have not yet clinched a playoff spot. They can get closer to it with a win today. So two teams, the Vikings and Packers, are locked in a struggle for survival in the NFL Game of the Week. Frozen fingers were present from the outset as Charlie West mishandled the opening kickoff to put Minnesota in a hole. Despite being on the 7, Fran, the scrambler, gambler Tarkenton, went for the bomb on the first play from scrimmage. John Gilliam had beaten Al Matthews, but an underthrow allowed Matthews to catch up. But Tarkenton remembered, and after a run, he took advantage of great pass protection and went with the same play. The play carried to midfield, but the drive died on third down when the scrambler was scrambled. Number 83, Clarence Williams, has become the Packers' best pass rusher. On a repeat, notice that he has been blocked to the inside by All-Pro Ron Yary, number 73, but close coverage on Dave Osborne, number 41, forced Tarkenton to run, and Williams had the speed to get back outside. On fourth and punt, Ken Ellis, number 48, playing with an injured shoulder, stung the Vikings with a 27-yard return. But Green Bay's first possession from good field position went nowhere. Number 16, Packer quarterback Scott Hunter managed to beat Wally Hilgenberg to the ball, but on third down, number 81, Carl Eller, beat number 72, Dick Himes, to the outside and met Hunter at the pocket. After 2 plays, it was Tarkenton's turn to face third down again, and again Clarence Williams showed good lateral speed and nailed him for a loss. On this fourth down, John Staggers nearly broke a punt return, but along the way lost the ball. Given a reprieve, Tarkenton hit John Henderson for first down in Packerland. Scramble time again. Tarkenton was not caught this time, but as the receiver began to get clear, Fran's rifle backfired. So from the 40, Fred Cox tried to put the Vikes on the board, but his knuckleball was wide. That's the way it went for most of the first half. The Packers played tough defense and held the Viking runners to just 28 yards. When Tarkenton tried to take advantage of the Packer line's hard charge, there were Green Bay linebackers like Fred Carr, number 53, smelling out the screen. Tarkenton, who used to be untouchable on the scramble, was sacked 4 times. This one was the 3rd time Williams was the sacker. Lest we forget, the Vikings play defense too. MacArthur Lane, number 36, who had gained over 600 yards, was held to 23 first-half yards. Number 42, John Brockington, got only 33 yards closer to his second 1,000-yard year. And Hunter suffered 3 sackings himself as the teams threatened a repeat of last year's 3-0 Viking victory. Green Bay's defense was doing an excellent impersonation of Minnesota's, but it's no longer a copy. The Packers have one of the best young defenses in the league. But because they are young, they make the growing pain mistakes. An interference call on Ken Ellis gave the Vikings 39 yards and a first down on the Packer 22. They improved on that when John Beasley, number 87, slipped over the middle for 13 yards. Then from the 1, Tarkenton went to a different tight end. Stu Voigt, number 83, on a tight end around. Voigt's touchdown gave Minnesota a 7-0 lead, and in the frosty air, that could have been enough. But the Packers disdained the cold, and Hunter went to the air and found some somehow supple fingers. Used his running backs like John Brockington, who made a nice reaching catch. Leland Glass, number 46, made a good scooping catch. Then reliable Carroll Dale, as he has done so many times, made one of his clutch leaping catches. With good catches being made all around him, Hunter completed 4 straight. And with the Vikings now thinking pass, he slipped the ball to Brockington. A repeat shows why Brockington is a 1,000-yarder. He can pick his hole, he has size, speed, and power. Just ask Paul Krause, number 22, who tried to stand in his way. From the 3, with 30 seconds left in the half, Hunter tried 3 passes, but all failed. On this one, on 3rd down, the Packers were penalized, and Minnesota elected to take the 15-yard penalty and give Green Bay another 3rd down play, despite the fact that even if it failed, a 27-yard field goal was almost as certain as one 15 yards closer. Minnesota was gambling on creating a turnover, and they got it when Krause intercepted. Thanks to the gamble and a defense to back it up, the Vikings kept Green Bay on the schneid and led at the half 7-0. As the second half began with his team in the lead 7-0, Minnesota coach Bud Grant tightened his cap with gesticulations that would make George Allen proud. In the first half, the vaunted Green Bay ground game was ice cold with only 56 total yards. But as the second half opened, MacArthur Lane cut back against the grain and ran 37 yards well into Viking territory. Several plays later, with the ball on the 30, Chester Marcole's field goal from 36 yards gave the Packers their first score. On the ensuing kickoff, Marcole's bouncing kick was taken by one of the short return men, Bill Brown, whose 27-yard return gave the Vikings great field position near midfield. But here, the Vikings and Bill Brown made an error that was the turning point of the entire ball game. A repeat of Fred Carr's fumble recovery shows the ball bounced right into his hands. Then the 238-pound linebacker, dancing like a halfback, went all the way to the Minnesota 28. It was the first Viking turnover, and by no means the last. MacArthur Lane was stopped in his tracks by Alan Page for a loss, so Scott Hunter turned to John Brockington with better results. From the 1, Scott Hunter finished the job himself, and the Pack had taken the lead 10-7. The kickoff that followed Green Bay's score was portentous, for John Gilliam's bobble not only gave Minnesota poor position on their own 14, but set up a passing situation which proved disastrous. A repeat of this strange interception shows John Gilliam had the pass, then seemed to guide it toward the defender, Willie Buchanan, number 28. Buchanan's long return gave the Pack great field position a second straight time, and again they would capitalize on it. MacArthur Lane got the call and scored nearly untouched to bring Green Bay's sudden scoring spurt to 10 points at 17-7. On Minnesota's next series, the last of the third quarter, Buchanan, Green Bay's #1 pick last year, stole his second pass from Fran Tarkenton. It was the third consecutive series that ended in an error for the hapless Vikings. A repeat of this play shows Buchanan barely had possession of the pass before fumbling, then falling on the ball. The long ball with frantic Francis throwing it was supposed to add a new dimension to Minnesota's stodgy offense this season. But today, against Green Bay's fine secondary, the bomb was defused. The final period began with MacArthur Lane being upended short of a first down. Here began one of the strangest series of events we've seen in a long time. Green Bay's Ron Whidbey went back to punt, but Minnesota's Alan Page, number 88, was called for running into the kicker, and the ball returned to Green Bay. But again, the Vikes held, and again Whidbey went back to punt and did so into the end zone. This time, Minnesota and Alan Page was called for offsides. The Pack was awarded 5 yards, still short of a first down, so Whidbey, number 20, went back to punt a third time. Unbelievably, Page again was called for offsides on the punt. This time, the 5-yard penalty gave Green Bay a first down and possession of the ball. A most unusual series of events, and certainly Alan Page, number 88, would agree. For last year's most valuable player lost his cool in the cold. An irate Alan Page stalked off the field with an official noting his conduct. Bud Grant replaced him with number 75, Bob Lurtsema. But Green Bay turned Minnesota's misfortune into 3 points on another Marco kick that brought the score to 20-7. With just about all hope gone, Fran Tarkenton put the ball in the air again and badly overthrew John Henderson. Number 48, Ken Ellis, was waiting for the errant toss and returned the ball 23 yards. Another look at this play that sealed the Vikings' doom shows Tarkenton wasn't rushed, just threw the football badly, giving Ken Ellis the chance to show some fancy footwork, most of it laterally. It is fitting that the play of the Packers' young secondary is what helped turn this ballgame around in the second half. For they have been consistently good all season long, and in time, Ellis, Buchanan, Al Matthews, and Jim Hill may rival the great Packer backfield of Herb Adderley, Willie Wood, Bob Jeter, and Doug Hart in the championship years. Green Bay's defense had limited Minnesota to only 13 plays in the third period, and only 5 in the final quarter. Fatigued and frustrated, Minnesota's proud defense went back into battle for the final time today, but again were unable to stop the power thrusts of the Pack's 2 big backs as they ground goalward. MacArthur Lane ran for 99 yards, and his partner John Brockington went over 100 and topped the 1,000-yard mark for the second time in his 2-year career, the first ever to do it. The frozen Norsemen could only watch helplessly as their entire season slipped away. In this final quarter, Green Bay had the ball for 13 of the 15 minutes. But as much of the glory goes to these two fine Green Bay backs, much of the credit belongs to those anonymous men in the trenches. They are epitomized by number 57, center Ken Bowman. Bowman dates back to the glory years and Vince Lombardi, for he has been working in the trenches for 9 years. Today, Bowman, along with Malcolm Snyder, Billy Luke, Dick Himes, and Bill Hayhoe, were manhandling the famed Purple People Eaters of Minnesota. Behind the great blocking of these men, MacArthur Lane turned the corner for an apparent touchdown, but it was negated by a holding. But even this couldn't remove the joy from the face of Packer coach Dan Devine. Another hero in Green Bay, number 13, Chester Marcole, added another 3 points, and the Packer victory was complete, 23-7. Dan Devine and his young team had crossed up the critics by winning the tough Central Division crown, and they did it by dethroning the former champions. The Vikings were denied a 5th straight division crown by this clear-cut Green Bay victory, and for them, all chances for the playoffs are ended. For today, in the sub-freezing weather that is part of their great past, the Green Bay Packers proved that the pack is all the way back. For in 1972, the Green Bay Packers have returned to glory.